Hi there, everyone. Welcome to my session on How to Sing Raw by Katy Perry. This is a pop classic which also doubles as a great audition song because it really takes some good vocal chops to pull it off well. This lesson will take 20 to 30 questions and your comments online. I'll see them in real time and I'll respond to them as part of this session. So I'm going to start by just singing a little bit of this song. I'm going to actually sing verse 2 and a little bit into the chorus, just to cover a little bit of the verse and chorus structure. The first verse is actually a bit longer than the second verse, so I'll do the second verse and then straight into the chorus. Here we go. Raw by Katy Perry. Now I'm floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee, I stripes. I went from zero to my own hero. You held me down, but I got up. Already brushed off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger, fighter, dancing through the fire, 'cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than a lion, 'cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. And let's leave it there just to introduce the song. Now, our very first vocal challenge is to know the scale or the type of scale that you're singing in. Especially a song like this which jumps around a lot and you've got a lot of pitches to cover and it's moving quite fast. Knowing what scale you're actually singing in can help you practice it and prepare for a good vocal. Now, this is in the key of B flat. The original is in the key of B flat, but if you really listen to the melody, you're actually basically singing what's called a B flat major pentatonic scale. Now, a major scale has 8 notes in it, B flat through to high B flat. A B flat major pentatonic only has 5 notes in it, and it's B flat, C, D, F, and G. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, da 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 da. And if you listen to all of the notes in the melody, or about 99% of them, they're all actually based on a B flat major pentatonic scale. So knowing that means that you can practice a B flat major pentatonic, so you can really jump between those pitches really, really easily. So la 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 la. So I'm going up to the high B flat there, but it's just the same as the low B flat, just an octave higher. So you're basically just using 5 notes. La 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 la. So knowing that that's the scale that you're singing in, get a load of a B flat major pentatonic. Know what those notes are: B flat, C, D, F, and G, or 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 of a major scale, and practice just jumping between those pitches. If you can practice that scale up and down, developing some nice exact pitching and nice control, nice fast control in your voice, and that's one of the things that will really help you nail the pitching of this song, knowing your B flat major pentatonic scale. Okay, your second vocal challenge is the big range in this song means that you have to be quite specific as to what key you're singing in. And we've talked about how the original is in B flat major, so Katy Perry sings it in B flat. But the wider the range of a song, the more important it is to make sure you sing it in a key that suits your voice. So what is the range? The range is the difference between the lowest note and the highest note. The lowest note in this is B flat. Da 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 da. She does lots of those low B flats, okay, and that's your lowest note in this song. The chorus goes up to the third above the high B flat, which is the high D. But when she goes, dancing through the fire, she actually goes up to the 4th there, which is a high E flat. So suddenly you've got an octave from the low B flat up to the high E flat. You've got an octave and a fourth, which is a really big range to sing, especially when we're just using our chest voice. So knowing that you've got to sing low B flat up to high E flat means you've got to be really specific about what key you're singing in. If you can't get to that high E flat, I would suggest that you take it a little bit lower. Maybe drop the key from B flat to A, which is one semitone lower. And if that's still a little bit high for you to sing up there, then maybe jumping it down to A flat or G. Knowing that that's your bottom note and that that's your top note helps you get it in the exact right key. So think about your lowest note and your highest note. If you can't do that really comfortably and confidently in your chest voice, then maybe drop it down. I've heard lots of girl singers do this in the key of A, which is a semitone lower. So feel free to do it if that's what's comfortable for you and that's what suits your range. Okay, let's talk about the third vocal challenge. And the third vocal challenge is that this is a really high song. You're belting it out at the top of your chest range, most of you. So knowing how to produce good high chest notes, because if we go into our head voice, which is a little bit more comfortable to sing those high notes, we don't get that really full, big, bright, belty quality that we want. And this song is an anthem. It's a feminist anthem, and it's a really fun, big, bold pop song. So we want to give it that nice full tone of the chest voice, but you do need to know how to sing very well up there. All of your notes and your vowels and your placement of tone down and forward. So as you go up in your high chest voice register, you'll hear the vibrations move up and back in your resonant chamber. And that means that we sometimes close up and we let the whole tone forward, and that's fighting against what you're feeling, all those vibrations moving back. But make sure as you go high that you keep your tone placement down and forward. The other thing that you do need to do is make sure you're opening your mouth really widely, and that will also encourage it to keep it down and forward. Make sure you're raising your soft palate, all those kind of things, making your resonant chamber as big and as wide and as open as you possibly can. Good support, diaphragm breathing, and making sure that you're not letting any tension creep into your singing. Okay, so I am the tiger fighter. Keep it down and forward. If you let it go up and back, it's going to sound like this. I am the tiger fighter. It's going to have that strangled sound to it, okay? So keep it down and forward. Imagine the tone placement being directed on your bottom front teeth. Those high chest voice notes in this song, especially in the chorus. Okay, the fourth vocal challenge is to do with the diphthongs in this piece, and there's an interesting word for us. Here's my little cue card, diphthong, a really interesting word. And the other way to think of a diphthong is a compound vowel sound. And a compound vowel sound in singing or the English language is a vowel sound with two different components to it. So if you think about I, if you slow that down and say it sort of like in slow motion, I, you get the two different sounds to that vowel, R and E. I. And of course, when we're doing it quite fast, you don't hear the two separate components and they kind of merge into each other. But if you analyse it closely, you can hear there's two distinct sounds to our diphthong. Now, this song is full of diphthongs, especially in that first line of the chorus. I got the eye of the tiger. In that first bit of the chorus are diphthongs. Now, going back to what we just said about the two different components, the I and the E part of the vowel, if we elongate the broad sounding part of that vowel, it's going to sound a lot better than if we close up our vowel sounds and get to the E part. Okay, so if we're doing I, got the eye of the tiger, then it's going to sound like this. I got the eye of the tiger. And you wouldn't really sing it like that because that would sound a little bit silly. But that's just to demonstrate what I got the eye of the tiger, 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 tiger. You can hear that as soon as you start to close down the vowel sound, you lose the impact of the word, especially singing right up there in your high chest register. So keep the flat part of that, the big, broad, flat part of that diphthong, R, in all of those words, keep it going for as long as you can. Just close it up right towards the end, and you get a bigger, bolder and a brighter sound, okay, to all of those notes. To all of I got the eye of the tiger, a fighter. And it might sound a bit strange to say it that way, but when you sing it that way, you can certainly still understand what you're saying. You're not losing that quality of diction. You're just making your tone sound magnificent up there. So watch those diphthongs. Keep the broad part of the diphthong going for much longer than the shorter part. Okay, let's have a look at the fifth vocal element of this song. And it's really quite a tricky thing to master, and that's at the end of the chorus where she goes, oh, 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 oh. When she does that oh, oh, oh sound, it's a particularly distinctive part of the song, and it sounds really fantastic when she does it. To pull it off effectively, you need to get in touch with your core muscles, and you need to make sure you're really activating these. To make sure you're imagine that you are a dog panting, and if you are a dog making that panting sound, it will sound like this. And when you do that, put your hand on your muscles here, on your core here, and go pant like a dog, and you'll feel those muscles just pushing out a little bit every time you do that. Those are the muscles you need to do to sing with that kind of quality on the okay? So if you can push out like you've got those dog panting muscles happening, then you'll get that nice sound. Okay, what you're doing there is actually breaking up the sound, and you're actually making it what's called staccato, or making it detached sounding. You're also giving it a little bit of an accent or a little push out. So use your dog panting muscles to, and as well as singers can sometimes do staccato as an accent, is by stop and starting your airstream, by flexing your muscles around the jaw or the throat. You can get a reasonable sound like that, but you also run the risk, because you're really changing your resonant chamber where the tone is really becoming amplified, you run the risk of the tone sounding different and also pushing yourself off pitch. So you are best to open up, keep everything lovely and steady here, and use your dog panting muscles, your core muscles here, to really stop and start those notes. And like anything that's tricky in singing, you slow it down and make sure that you can feel these muscles here. Feel free to actually have your hand here and make sure that you can feel these muscles going and pushing out when you're singing that particular short, choppy and detached and staccato. Go back and do the whole chorus and sing it as part of the phrase. Okay, but be aware of those muscles, practice it first, and certainly you can practice even speaking it before you sing it. But it's a distinctive part of the song, and you want to add that to your vocal when you sing this song, because it sounds fantastic. Okay, no questions coming through at the moment, so we might wrap things up there. Remember those 5 vocal take it down, a tone or a semitone or a tone and a half, which is a minor third in music. Whatever suits your range, be aware of where you comfortably sing down to and where you comfortably sing up to. Practice this song. It is a great audition song, and one of those songs that everybody loves to hear and is very inspired by, and people love to sing along to it too. So go and practice this song with those 5 vocal. Practice, persistence, really hanging in there with your singing practice, and keeping on. And the 5th one is patting yourself on the back as you if you see yourself making progress and putting in the practice that's required and feeling the benefits of that, feel great about what you've accomplished. So enjoy practicing and singing through this song, Katy Perry's Roar, and enjoy the progress